off. And here we are at Kennedy Space Center, July 2009. That's the crew. The name's on the patch. And there's Endeavour on the launch pad. We're getting ready to go out there. You're going to see the crew walking out. This is our third time doing this. The first two we scrubbed for weather. So we're getting in this nice shiny van, going to go out to the launch pad. When we get there, going to walk up and you're going to see the nice roomy quarters that I have. Downstairs, after you look at my pilot, you're going to see what we call the mid-deck. There's 3 down there. There's 4 upstairs on the flight deck here. We're going to go ahead and move the arm away, we call the white room, and you're going to see, I'm waving right there. Here's the launch flight.
Go for maintenance and start.
We're go for maintenance and start. We have maintenance and start. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Endeavour, completing Kibo and fulfilling Japan's hope for an out-of-this-world space laboratory. So the launch is really something, and this is what we call first stage, where we still have the solid rocket boosters attached. They use up all their fuel in 2 minutes, and so after 2 minutes of flight, they will separate and come back down into the ocean where they were used again. And what's going to be left are the 3 main engines, and they are going to burn fuel from the big orange tank. And then the entire ride from launch to orbit is 8.5 minutes. So after 8.5 minutes, we're going to separate from the tank. The tank's the only part of the shuttle that was not used again. It'll burn up as it enters the atmosphere. And then we're going to go ahead and get to open our payload bay doors. We're going to see equipment in the back that we'll talk about a little bit later. And the silver that you see, those are radiators. We generate a lot of heat from our equipment, and we have to get rid of that heat by getting it into space. And then you're going to go ahead and we're going to see our very first view of the Earth, looking out the back window. And now the crew is getting out of their launch seats and suits, and so we can get comfy for the rest of our mission. And our first rule, or first thing to do here is to find a space station. So that's what you're seeing right here. If you were on that space station, this is what you're going to see coming on board. You're going to see the space shuttle here. We're all living in this part of it. We're going to use that to dock and attach to the space station. And you're going to see all the equipment that we're taking up there, which we'll talk about in a second. But while we're doing that, I'm going to command the space shuttle so it does this big end-over-end maneuver. And while we're doing that, pictures are being taken of all the dark areas. And those are all the areas of the shuttle that will protect us at the end of the mission when we enter the Earth's atmosphere. While all this is going on, this is the station, that's the shuttle. We're both going around the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour, which is 5 miles every second. So, I'm actually now going to go ahead and take command of the shuttle, and I'm going to fire a series of jets, and I'm going to align myself right there, and I'm going to manually close in and dock to the space station. And when we connect ourselves, we're going to make sure that there are no leaks so that we can open up the hatches, and we're going to do that right now. When we do, there were 7 people on the shuttle, 6 people on the station. First time we had 13 people on board, and here you can see them trying to throw us out of their way to the supplies. The International Space Station has 5 partners besides the U.S. and NASA. We have the Canadian Space Agency, the Japanese Space Agency, the European Space Agency, the Russian Space Agency. You're seeing modules built all over the world. We're going to take a tour of this. Anybody from Canada today in the room? There you go. So your Governor General, Madame Julie Payette, is right here, and she's demonstrating cables without gravity. And we are going through the mid-deck of the space shuttle, through our airlock, going into the space station. And when we get there, we're going to see a couple of astronauts. On the right in the blue is an American, Doug Hurley, the pilot, Koichi Wakata from Japan. We're going to go into the European laboratory, Columbus. And when we get there, we're going to turn around. We're going to take a look at the Japanese laboratory, Kibo. When we get in there, we see a second Canadian astronaut, Bob Thirsk. First time we had 2 Canadian astronauts in space together. And here we are in the Japanese lab. When we get back into the main section of that lab, we're going to open up a window cover. And when we do that and we look outside, we're going to see one of 3 robotic arms that we're going to be using later in the mission, and we'll take a look at that. So we're going to float back into the main part of the station, make a quick right-hand turn, and when we do, we're going to go into the U.S. lab, which I actually took up on my very first mission. And if you were a crew member up there, you might be living and sleeping in here for 6 months. That is your bedroom. On the right, exercising, Tim Coker from the U.S., Frank Davina here on the left from Belgium. We're going to go farther aft. We're going to look at a part where we operate another robotic arm. This is arm number 2 attached to the space station. We're going to go further aft. We're going to see a big white spacesuit. Those are the spacesuits we use when we do spacewalks, and we're getting ready to do the first of 5 of them. And we will talk about that a little bit later. When we get further aft, it looks a little bit different here from what you've seen, and that's because these are parts of the station built by the Russians, and they just have a different look and feel in them. So we're going to see a Russian cosmonaut, Roman Romanenko, float a little bit further aft, and before we get all the way in the back, we're going to go down and we're going to look into a Russian Soyuz spacecraft. That is how the Russians transport people from the Earth to space and back. And all the way in the aft is Gennady Podelka, Gennady, a Russian cosmonaut, space station commander, while I was the shuttle commander. So that's what the station looked like back in 2009. It's gotten even bigger since then, but it was still pretty roomy at the time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see the 3rd robotic arm, this one attached to the space shuttle, because we're going to have 2 crew members. We got Doug and Koichi here. They're working the space station arm, while Julie and I are working the space shuttle arm. And this piece here is called the Japanese Exposed Facility. It's a part of the Japanese lab complex, and we brought it up and need to attach it. But the arms won't reach where it needs to go. So we're actually doing handoffs where one arm grabs it, then it hands it off to another arm, which eventually can get it where it needs to go so that it can attach it to the laboratory. And so everything that you're seeing here in these 15 or 30 seconds of video took about 6.5 or 7 hours to complete. So we're moving that equipment around. We're going to attach it to the Japanese lab, and you're going to see the Japanese lab Kibo there. That's the exposed facility, what we call the front porch. And we're going to attach the porch right here, and now you're going to see what it looks like there when it's connected to the lab. So we also get to use the arm for other things. Here's a bunch of spare parts. We're taking it up there. Amazon trying to deliver, so we had to carry this. So we're maneuvering these pieces and putting it in place so that we can use them on spacewalks. And now we have 3 rectangular boxes up there, and those are actually different scientific experiments. We call them payloads. And they don't need to come inside, and we're going to use the 3rd robotic arm to grab these little payloads and to attach them to the outside of what is this new exposed facility that we brought up, because they're going to go ahead and reside out there to go ahead and collect whatever data that the researchers were looking for. And here we have Julie and Doug, and Tim and myself and Doug, and we're showing that whenever we do critical operations like this, we always have 2 people so that somebody's looking over your shoulder to make sure that we don't make simple little mistakes, which can easily occur up there. Here we have one of the carriers that was taking equipment we no longer needed, so we're bringing it back inside. And so that's what space robotics was like. Now let's look at spacewalks. My buddy Dave, he loves his spacesuit because that little spacesuit is going to keep him warm and cool and have him be able to breathe and everything else. So right now we've got crew members getting ready to go outside, and we're putting them in their spacesuits. Gonna take them, shove them into this little tiny room we call an airlock with their equipment. We're gonna close the hatch, we're gonna suck all the air out. Why you need a spacesuit, and then they're going to come outside a back door, and here Dave is attaching his feet to a platform, And Julie and Doug are commanding this robotic arm while Dave's attached so that Dave doesn't have to do a lot of maneuvering, and you're going to see why in a second. But if you want to know what it's like to be in that spacesuit, in a second you're going to get a view as if you were in that suit, because here it is. You have a camera mounted on top of the helmet, and you can see that's what your view is from inside that spacesuit when you're outside. So, why do we have Dave attached by his feet? Because Dave is about to grab this big antenna, which weighs about 1,500 pounds or so. And he's going to be maneuvering that, and he can barely see around it. So he has the robot arm helping drive him where he needs to so that he can attach that spare antenna onto the station where it needs to go. And that's what's happening there. And now he's going to go ahead and do a very similar thing with another piece of equipment that he's taking up. And if you look really closely on some of these scenes and some other ones, you'll see little tiny lines floating around. And those are tethers, because everything and everybody is tied off to something. So if you let go by accident, nothing's going to go forward away and get lost. And so now what we're doing is we're taking a look at some of the solar arrays. And those solar arrays collect energy from the sun, obviously, but they have to store them somewhere. And they store them in a AA battery. And so those AA batteries are just a little harder to maneuver and change out. And this was the very first time that we actually swapped out batteries in space. And we had 6 of these. And so the crew members here were demonstrating what that was like. It took us 1.5 spacewalks to swap out 6 batteries. And you can see again some of the little tether lines around there as they're working. And now you're going to see that we're about to throw away a cover right here. We no longer need it, and sometimes it's a lot more work to try and collect it and bring it inside than it is to just throw it away where it can burn up as it enters the atmosphere. So the scenes now I'm showing you are to demonstrate that I have no idea why we call it spacewalking, because nobody ever walks. They're really using their arms to move around. It's big upper body intensive work. Arms, hands. And so you're seeing what that's like. You see that you don't really grab onto anything because it'd be like squeezing a tennis ball over and over again. But you get an idea of what it's like to walk in space, all the different tethers, and we did 5 of these over 10 days. So those are the southern lights. We don't get to see them from the northern hemisphere, but we got to go down below the equator during our orbit, so it was really cool. So you want to know what it's like to float in space?
Yes. Yeah. I'd want to play tag up there.
So kids, do not do this at home.
I don't think that'd be possible.
It's a heck of a lot of fun to be in space and get to fly like Superman and spin around and do all these kinds of things. But another really cool thing is that you're up there, and in this case we had 13 of us from all over the world, 5 different